Thanks for stopping by. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to replace the entire front brakes of the Jeep. I checked out the front brakes of the Jeep and there's just nothing good going on up there, so I decided to replace everything. We've got rotors, calipers, brake lines, and new brake pads. Let's head on out there and see how many bolts we break. This should allegedly go a little better than those drum brakes did. First thing we're going to do is take out the banjo bolt, which holds on the soft brake line. The only thing I'm really worried about is this fitting right here. We might be making some new brake line right there. Let's snap this fella off. Well, that's good so far. There's a crush washer here and one on this. We got some new ones that we'll replace that with. The bolt looks in pretty decent shape, so we'll save that. Next, we will take the slide pins out. We are also reusing those, so, oh, come on. They're in pretty decent shape as well. Let's find the bottom one. With those out, this should technically be loose, but there is so much rust. I'm gonna go get a hammer and something to pry this with. We just need to give it a little persuasion since it is, very rusted. You might be a little more careful of this if you're not replacing everything here, but well, there we go, not bad. That kind of came off. Yeah, definitely glad we're replacing all this. Oh boy, oh, that is very, very stuck on there. All right, got it free and I am not sure what's even, these things are melted back here. There's just, I don't know what's even happening anymore here. This is all getting thrown in the trash. Same with this guy. On a scale of usability, this rotor is actually not that bad. It's just not going to cool. It's covered in rust. Like, yeah. Well, I mean, maybe I changed my mind here. That's just all rust. Okay, we're going to hit all of this with a with some cleaner and such. The brake pads sit here and here, so we really want to get that clean. I might even take a file to this bottom one. Let's just kind of get all of this. I mean, I should have ordered. Yeah, that's okay. I'm not sure these are structurally sound anymore, honestly. At some point, we will be replacing these as well, I guess. Just making sure all this is actually solid still. Can't decide if this is dirt or just a whole layer of rust. Yeah, this all needs replaced eventually. Goodness, goodness, goodness. This is just gonna turn into a full rebuild of this vehicle if we're gonna save it. Yeah, that's good enough. As I said, we're gonna give this just a little. It is very bumpy from the rust. Let's make sure the brace can slide easier and do what they're supposed to do. Well, there's a lot of it on the back. There we go. Do the same. This top isn't as bad. That inside lip is. Clean off where the brakes sit. Now for the fun part of getting our soft line off. This doesn't look too bad, but these break. That's what they do. We also got a new clip, which is good. That's actually kind of solid. Let me go find a wrench to undo this. Okay, here we go. Let that sit for a bit. Well, that's not a good start to it. Little taps will. Come on. Yeah, those are noises I like to hear. Well, let's get that. Problem is, I got to get this off to get to that bolt, so surely we're close here. Okay, sweet. I'm gonna clean out those threads. See how I feel about that. So I'm not sure I want to make that entire new brake line. Up and around. Yeah, there's a lot of chance of failure here. Yeah, let's get this guy off here and then we'll decide. How do we get in here to do this? I'm tempted to just use my impact. Oh, why do you ever do Torx, guys? Jeep, quit it with the Torx. I might go find a normal bolt to put back in here instead of a Torx. I don't think. All right, I know you guys are going to get grumpy about chrome bits on. Good. Great. Gonna give this about 10 minutes before we just don't replace that. It's not in that bad a shape. It's a little rusty on the outside, but go up to 45 maybe. Nope, much too big. Of course, we're missing the one size I need for the hex head. Let's go find that, I guess. I forgot to turn the mic on when I got back from the store. I fiddled around with it for another 10-15 minutes. Just continued to strip it out and made things worse. Sometimes you just have to take a loss. On a positive note, the hose itself is in pretty decent shape, just some surface rust. I also reconnected the brake line. Hopefully this doesn't leak later. Gonna put our rotor on. These come with oil on them, so they don't rust in shipment. So we'll hit this, maybe we'll hit this little brake clean. Wipe it off. Try not to touch these too much and stuff. Keep as much oil as you can off of the main braking part. And we'll put that on. Oh yeah, plenty. So we're gonna wanna wipe that oil off so they can stop a little easier. Okay, time to put the caliper on. We're going to use our old slide bolts here that go in and etc. I'm going to throw just a little bit of lubricant on here, not much. Just going to put some lubricant on our slide post. And this is just a real light layer. I also double checked. They already put lubricant inside of the seals. We've got a whole pack of brake pads here for everything. To make sure you have the right ones, the side with 2 prongs goes down, the side with 1 prong goes up. Also, the side that has the 3 prongs goes down into the caliper. And the side with the flat on the back goes on the outside of the brake. So we can also, before we do all this, make sure these fit in the right ones. So we've got that down, and that goes up. And then we'll make sure we grab the right one of these. Like, see, this is backwards now. See how this fits the brake backwards? That's the wrong one. We want the round part out, so there we go. That's the right one for that. These brakes also came with a little, I don't know if you can see it, it says L0 and L1 on the other, so that's left side. R1, R0 is on the other one, so that's right side. Not all brakes are going to have that, though. Also, with our caliper, this is the bleeder valve. We want it at the highest point of the brake because air goes up to get out, which is what a bleeder valve does. We're also going to put a very small amount of lubricant on here just to help keep the brakes from squeaking. Again, this is a very light layer. I'll also throw a little bit on the back of these. So we'll take our brake pad with clean hands so we're not getting stuff all over the pad. We'll push this into this hole. That's hard to do while I'm holding this for a camera. We'll push those 3 prongs into the hole, pop it in. And we'll make sure we have the right one. That is not the right one. We'll make sure we have the right one again. This one needs to hook, and then these little notches need to go in the holes. It's real hard to do with one hand while I'm trying to put this on the camera for you. Oh, surely I can do this whole, there we go. We got a good angle finally. So I have this pulled back a little so these notches will go in, and then we'll press the brake down. And that's not in there, right? Because there's still some spacing. I need to move that just a little more. Need to go that way some. There we go. Yeah, that was sort of on camera. I just had to adjust this until it lines up with the holes there. All these are in solid now. Next up is we're going to line our little latches up with the brake. I'm going to need to push that in. We'll lay this on top and just set this forward until it sits there. Let me get you a little closer view of what's going on here. Give you a side view of what's going on. We just put our notches into the bottom one, and then we push until our top notch lays against the top of this. Next, we will put our bolts back in, give them a little bit of a hand tightening, make sure everything's all lined up and you aren't stripping bolts out. Yeah, that one's still not right. There we go. I'm going to do these by hand. Everything's just a little rusty, and making sure we don't strip these out. Given our previous bolt situation over there, I got to make sure I don't ruin some more. Yeah, that guy's not lined up quite. There you go. The internet says 11 foot-pounds, which is like that hard. I'm going to actually get the torque wrench and see if that, I don't even think my torque wrench goes down to 11 foot-pounds. Well, allegedly, that's real loose. Well, we're going to do 12 foot-pounds because that's where I start feeling any sort of resistance from this. That feels a lot harder than, I don't necessarily trust this torque wrench that often. That one, there you go. Not a satisfying click because it's such a small amount. Yep, I'm gonna give that one little nudge past that just because I don't really Trust this torque wrench. Next, we got to get this banjo bolt back on here. I'm going to clean this just a little, I guess. Hopefully that'll help. Make sure she's got a good connection. There is a obvious notch here and an obvious thing that it sets on the caliper. We have our banjo bolt, so you can't just put a normal bolt in this. It has to be a banjo bolt. There's a hole where the brake fluid goes in and then comes out the end. No idea why these are called banjo bolts. They don't look like a banjo to me. Anyways, we're gonna pop this fella in here. First, we need crush washers, though. The way this seals is with little crush washers. As you torque this down, they smash. So we're gonna put one on this side. We'll grab our line. We'll put this in, and then we will put another one on the other side. So we're kind of just smashing all this copper between everything. We'll kind of line that up, get it started by hand. Probably blocking everything here, but yep, line up those. There we go, finally got it going. It's kind of hard to do because you have the sliding U. You could turn the wheels back the other way to take some of this pressure off. I'm going to get that down pretty good by hand and make sure everything's in there. So we will tighten this down, make sure it stays where it's supposed to be. This one goes to 23 foot-pounds. There we go. After you change these, definitely check that this isn't leaking. That's all it takes to do these disc brakes. They're way easier than the drum brakes. Let's head over to the other side and grab those. We'll do the quicker version on this side now that you've seen the other one. We got the top bolt. And we got the bottom bolt. And we got the banjo bolt. And next we'll pry our brakes out. This is in a lot worse shape over here. Yeah, we've got some problems on this side. Definitely good for replacing this one. Ugh. Clean it off, make sure it's all still solid too. File down our edges so the brakes can move. Do the same up top. Clean these off a bit. I'd use brake clean, but we've got just enough for the rotor. We got a caliper, just a smidge of lube, a little bit on the back sides. Keep it from squeaking. With clean hands, we'll put our brake pad in. We will slide our top brake into the slots. Or we'll get sent a caliper that needs deburring so that this will actually fit in here. Then we'll try again. There we go. It wasn't sitting flush before. We'll grab the new rotor. Oh, and hopefully making it with enough brake clean. Put it on. Oh, yeah, just enough. Slide on our caliper. There we go. Everything's back on, pretty snug. We'll put our top bolt back in. Maybe. And then we'll line up our bottom bolt and get it back in. I'm gonna get in your way so I can see what I'm doing here. We'll tighten this with our wrench first, make sure we aren't cross-threading. Take it easy. This is definitely not feeling very lined up. There we go. And grab our bottom one. $11 foot-pounds on these fellas, if I can find a spot. I mean, they're kind of rusty, so this is, I'm gonna give it a little, we're just gonna go past where that thinks it is. These are definitely not tight yet. There's just enough rust in the threads. I'm gonna call that good. Now we'll grab our banjo bolt, reinstall this how it should. We're gonna hit that with a little bit of this first. Hang on. Where'd you go? Gonna clean out the edge of our banjo bolt. Just a little. Then we do our banjo bolt. Don't forget our crush rings. One on the outside. Which way do you go in here? There we go. One there. One on the inside. Bolt that back up. 23 foot-pounds. And a little bit extra. All right, the brakes are installed. Let's go into the air conditioning and have a chat. After those are replaced, you're still gonna need to bleed them. I can't do that at the moment because I have an axle out and I'm replacing a seal, so the back brakes aren't hooked up. We'll get all that put together in the next video. Then the video after that, I will bleed the brakes and hopefully test drive the Jeep finally. I'll put a link down in the description for that video when it gets released. That way you can actually finish this job. Until then, go on an adventure, get out there and see the stars!